Welcome back to the Kiwi Wedding Podcast. My name is Lydia. I am a wedding photographer at Lydia Rachel Photography and your host. On today's episode, I'm chatting to the lovely Steph. We chat all about her wedding and also life as a wedding vendor. Steph is the founder and creator of Bridal Fusion, and she stocks an amazing collection of bridal dresses, veils, accessories, and including traditional Asian wedding attire. We chat through Steph's love story, planning her wedding, the combining of two different cultures and values, the traditions that they instilled in their day. Another part of Steph's life is that she is an accountant, so she was amazing with tracking and forecasting their budget. And we didn't actually mention it at the time of record, but Steph has kindly shared to the public her Excel budget tracking forecasting sheet. I've probably butchered the name of that, but I will link it in the show notes, so make sure you go and grab that. It's an amazing tool to use in your wedding planning to keep on budget and see exactly where all your money is going. I will share that on Instagram as well, and make sure you pop over there to check out some photos of Steph's wedding and some Bridal Fusion stuff. She has some amazing wedding advice, and we also talk all about how her business came to be, the different products she stocks and services she has available, including rental. We talk about fun trends that we're seeing in the industry. And yeah, Steph has a lot of wisdom, so I think you're going to get a lot out of this episode. Let's get right into it. Enjoy episode 95 with Steph. Hi, Steph. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. And a huge thank you to Steph because we actually tried to record already and had some major technical problems, which unfortunately happens every now and then. But yeah, excited to chat to you all about your wedding and being a vendor as well.
Thanks for having me. Good to be back. These things happen, so it's completely fine.
So here we are again. So we'll get started with chatting a little bit about your experience getting married. To start with, if you could just tell us a bit about you and your partner, how you guys met, and yeah, your life together.
So I was born and raised in Auckland. My parents, my mum's originally from China and my dad's originally from Vietnam. So they've been in New Zealand for about, I would say, 40 years now. And so I've always worked in the finance industry, and wedding and fashion was I've never thought about being in the wedding or fashion industry in my mind. So how it led to that was from actually me and Nick getting married. So if we wind it back, me and Nick met back in 2017, I believe, the first week he arrived in New Zealand. He's originally from the UK, and we met at a rooftop bar at Auckland Viaduct, Dr. Rudy's, for those who are from Auckland. And we originally, we had friends, I had mutual friends at that time wanting to go for a drink, and Nick messaged one of them who actually he hadn't met for the first time as well. And so I come to Dr. Rudy's if you came for a drink. And then the rest was history. We met the same group. He accidentally spilled my drink. I was holding an espresso martini, so that was very expensive at that time. Well, it still is expensive at that time, so I made sure he bought me a drink. And we got chatting away, and when we looked up, it was 3-4 hours later, and the rest of his group had pretty much disappeared, so it was just me and him. So that was nice. And here we are, married, and that's how Bridal Fusion was born in terms of finding I struggled to find gowns in the Asian wedding attire space. So I decided to set that up as well. And yeah.
So cool. And yeah, I love that story of how you guys met. So you were together for a while and then got engaged. Can you tell us a bit about the proposal story?
Yeah, we got engaged at Queen Charlotte Track. We're really into our hiking, and it's a 3-day track. And I remember the first day, it was in December, it was really hot as well. And we probably walking about for 5-6 hours, and we got to our first lodge. And when we got to our first lodge, there was people popping champagnes and their maxi dresses, all dressed up, and then here we are, came out from the bushes, all hot and sweaty and grubby. So we were really looking forward to a nice hot shower, and then that evening, it's like, why don't we take some photos out in the bay? So we did that, and little did I know he was, after taking a few pictures, he did a video recording, and that was quite windy that day. So as he was recording, getting down on one knee, the video decided to just slowly cut him off and cut me off. So it was just me sobbing, saying yes, absolutely, but at the same time, you couldn't see him as well. But that was really special, and Queen Charlotte holds a very special place to us. We were actually up there earlier during the summer holiday to celebrate our 2-year anniversary, as well as Nick's family coming over from the UK.
Oh, so nice. Such a beautiful part of the country, and yeah, special memories that you can go back and visit there.
Yeah,
So good. So had you been one of those girls that kind of dreamed about your wedding? Did you know what you wanted? You had like a vision in mind, or yeah, what were those kind of first steps getting started planning?
I definitely wanted to always get married, and but didn't really have a vision. But with me and Nick, we really wanted something natural, rustic. We love hiking. We wanted to be in the outdoors, and the Waitaki Ranges was a perfect place. We got married at Flaxmere House, and we kept it simple in that aspect and didn't want to be at a vineyard or anything. We really enjoyed that. There's so many nice places, let alone in Auckland and New Zealand, where we have the beauty of picking vineyards or at a rustic farm or at someone's place with a big backyard. The world is your oyster, I would say, in terms of picking a place in New Zealand. It was actually quite hard for us. It got to a point where we just needed to pick three, down, narrow it down to 3 places and then go from there.
Yeah, did you end up looking at quite a lot then?
Yeah, I think we were looking at venues probably 2 months straight, almost every weekend, and then it got to the point, okay, they started to look similar, and then you have your pros and cons, and we're both being counted. So then we just whipped out a spreadsheet, had pros and cons, what we liked, what we didn't like, and then just also decided in terms of the cost as well, because weddings aren't cheap. When we were looking at it, I think an average price for wedding was about $35,000, and it's probably gone up now with the cost of living crisis.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so interesting to kind of hear that process. You can definitely get overwhelmed with the options, and then, yeah, everyone has a slightly different package, or yeah, it's a lot to work through. But yeah, cool spot that you landed on in the end. Did you have your top priorities for the day? What were the most important elements when you were planning?
Top three would be the first one, catering. It was really important for us because the best way for an Asian community to show love isn't through emotions or verbal language, it's through food in your stomach. So we made sure that there was enough food for everyone, and we wanted everyone to have sharing platters. So we made sure that the food at the dishes, nobody really had to get up and instead just sit down and enjoy and talk with the food as obviously enjoying with food as well. And the second one is dancing. We love dancing. Well, I love dancing, and me and my girlfriend. So we made sure we had a DJ. And the third one would be spending time with our friends and family. We actually did our bridal creative shoot before the wedding ceremony and our vows. So then we had the 2 hour gap during the cocktail hour just to spend with our family and friends, which was really nice. Usually, after me being a wedding guest, I notice that when the bride and groom and the bridal party disappear, that Uncle Bob or Auntie Jane gets a bit too smashed after a
Yeah,
couple of wines. And it's
yeah.
really entertaining, and it's just a nice way to spend time with family and friends.
Yeah, so good. I love that you did that. Can you talk to us a bit about your wedding outfits and how was that whole process? I think it was after your wedding you started Bridal Fusion, so not fully in that world yet. But yeah, can you talk to us about finding your own?
Well, I told myself that I was only going to get married once, touch wood. So I just went all out. You know what? I'll just go for 3 dresses. So the first one, I wore a red dress in the Eastern, just to honor my Eastern heritage. We did a tea ceremony as well, and we poured tea to give blessings and well wishes for our respected elders and our family members as well. So we did that. We wore a traditional red dress during the day, and same with Nick as well. He wore a gown as well. And then the wedding ceremony and during the wedding reception, oh no, not wedding reception, the wedding ceremony and the cocktail hour, I wore my traditional Western dress, and I bought it from Bridal Brilliance, which was amazing. They had a wide range of selection as well. I actually bought my first dress online. I told myself I didn't really want a really expensive dress. I think I bought it for $300, and I tried it on, and I liked it, but I didn't like the feel that it made me feel. So then I went to Bridal Brilliance. I saw a dress that I was like, I'll go there just for peace of mind. And when I put it on, and I never understood when girls say, you know when it's the dress. And that's exactly how I felt. I got Terry and I said, no, this is the one, I want it. So I bought that dress pretty much on the spot. And the third dress, I didn't have my something blue, so I decided to wear a blue sparkly dress. Absolutely felt like a Cinderella. It was perfect for our wedding dance. I could twirl and it was just spinning around. And my nieces said I looked like Elsa from Frozen, which was really cute. But I noticed there's been a lot of trendy dresses during the reception where a lot of mini dresses are in right now.
Yeah.
It gives a party vibe as well.
Yeah, a bit easier to
Yeah.
dance in, I guess, if you have a
Yeah.
huge train or,
If you don't
yeah,
if you don't have a
heavy.
bustle rider, I think it'll be quite hard. Well, I feel sorry
Yeah.
for the groom because when you twirl, obviously he
Yeah.
doesn't want to step on it.
Yeah, exactly. I know some of those big dresses are hard to maneuver, but yeah, and it's just like fun to have another look, I think, if you can
Yeah.
factor that
Mm.
in. And did you have a bridal party as well? And yeah, if so, can you talk about that process choosing them?
Yeah, we kept it really simple. I didn't want to pick and choose. I got a few different group of friends, and I didn't want it to be awkward or me picking over them, or even though they would be completely fine. But I think I wanted to eliminate the stress for myself. So I picked my sisters. I've got two sisters, and it was just easy. And because they're your sisters, you can tell how it is, when to be there, where to be there, and what to allocate them, and just be really upfront. And Nick also had two groomsmen as well, so that was nice and easy. We just wanted to keep it simple.
Yeah, nice. Love that. Yeah, something about family, you can just tell them straight. So, so good.
Totally, totally.
Yeah. And how about the guest list? Did you find that tricky to narrow down?
It was just after COVID, so it was 2022, even though the restrictions had lifted, but there was still family members that couldn't come over overseas. But again, we kept it very strict. In the Asian community, the bigger the better, right? And I told my mum, I put my foot down and I said, we're going to have a very restrictive guest list. We had about 80. I've got an older brother. I have a really big family. I've got an older brother, and I thought he took one for the team because he had about, I think, over 100 guests, but then he had a banquet as well, which he had to do back in China. And I think my mum's side was about 300, and then my sister-in-law also had about 300.
Wow.
So that was a big shebang, I guess, for my family. So I told him I do not want that additional stress. But we did compromise, and I actually had a Chinese banquet the following day, and it was more for my parents. I told them, just tell us when and where, and we'll be there. Tell us what to wear, and we'll rock up. And you could see how happy they were because it was wasn't really a celebration for us; it was a celebration for them. But you could see how happy they were, and I'm glad I did it in the end.
Yeah, no, that's a great
It was tiring though.
compromise. Just have something
Yeah,
else. But yeah, I bet you were tired right
I
the
was
day
so
after.
tired. And it was during summer, and our restaurant that we had, unfortunately, their aircon broke down.
Oh
So
no.
I was just sweating profusely in my dresses.
Yeah. Oh no, not fun.
Yeah, it was really hot.
Crazy. Can you tell us a bit more about the big day, maybe a little of the lead up to it, and yeah, any highlights or favorite moments?
It was definitely a big day. We had a lot going through that day. My timeline between the events, I definitely made sure there was enough time for me and Nick to have our alone time or even just sit down and catch breath because we did the tea ceremony on the same day. So I think me and my bridesmaid got up around 6 or 7, and they said I had to do their makeup around 8, from 8 to 10 or 10 or 11. So it was just me and the bridesmaids doing our hair and makeup, and the guys were at the venue just having a beer,
Mm.
relaxing, and I was envious of them where they could just relax. To be fair, I could relax as well, but when you plan such a big day, you've got things rushing through your head. Have I done that? Have I done that? Making sure someone arrives on time and all that. So it was quite hard to relax in that aspect because your mind, at the back of your mind, unconsciously is just running through. And then we had our first look at it at I think 11 o'clock. We wanted something just me and Nick to be intimate because we knew from as soon as the tea ceremony started, it was going to be full on. So we did the tea ceremony and then did the wedding ceremony afterwards. Oh no, sorry, we did the bridal shoot as well, just between them two, which was really nice. And then the ceremony and had our cocktail hour, and then dinner at the same venue, which was quite good. And the best part, I would say, was our wedding dance. We are not dancers at all. We practiced for about, I would say, 6 to 8 months. And at first, oh my God, we were getting so frustrated at each other. I found out, I would say he's definitely more patient than I am, but it was to dance in front of our family and friends. It was really special, and yeah, don't regret the time and effort that we put in for it. I actually even had a wedding rehearsal. I mean, a wedding dance rehearsal the day after my hens, and I was so dusty,
Mm.
but I showed up.
So good. I think it's like, oh, that's such a fun experience to get lessons together, but also like test your
Yeah,
relationship and patience a bit,
yeah.
I'm sure.
We, we actually got ours from YouTube,
Mm,
and
amazing.
we bought it, and I think maybe 3 sessions, but it was dubbed in English, so not everything translated correctly, and we were getting confused, and we just had to keep replaying it. So a lot of time and patience. But YouTube's the way to go if people aren't sure. I would highly recommend it. I think that's actually where my sister learnt her wedding dance as well, through YouTube.
Yeah, that's such a good Ricky. Wouldn't necessarily think of that, but yeah, so good. Oh, sounds like such an amazing day. Was there any other highlights you wanted to mention there?
Not really. I mean, the whole day was amazing, really. I really enjoyed the vows. When we did our vows, it felt like it was just me and him. I almost forgot that we had our audience there. Me and you just gazing into your other partner and sharing, pouring your heart and soul on the special commitment that you're going to share forever is really special. I sometimes still look at my wedding video, and he's like, "Are you watching it again?" I was like, "Yeah, but it's so sweet. It's just a nice reminder." Definitely recommend getting a videographer because there's snippets that you won't be able to obviously be a part of when you're off doing something else or seeing someone else and talking. So yeah, it was really well worth it.
Yeah. Oh, so special. Love that. And what did you find the hardest part about the whole wedding planning process? Is there anything you look back on and regret or would do a little bit differently?
I think because there's so many different vendors throughout the day, it was syncing up with the timeline and making sure everyone was aligned. So I'd recommend having everything in writing or just being very clear and concise on what your vision and your fiance's vision is, and making sure it meets to everyone's expectations. I would say there was a couple of hiccups on my end, perhaps miscommunication or misunderstanding. So always very good to be clear.
Yeah, great advice. Yeah.
Think you probably see that as well if you're when you're a wedding photographer, you can take snippets and you're like, "Ooh,
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you get a timeline, and yeah, I'm happy to give feedback on them for sure. But yeah, yeah, make sure everyone's on the same page. You've left enough like buffer time for everything, and yeah, it's just that communication piece with your vendors, I guess.
yeah,
And you kind of learn that after the fact, which is not that helpful, but yeah,
I
hopefully can
know,
be organized
yeah."
enough, yeah, in the
And
lead
just
up.
thinking about the logistics as well when you're
Mm.
going through the timeline, going from A to B as well, or wherever.
Yeah, especially if you have those kind of different events or parts of the day like you did, or yeah, you're traveling between venues and everything. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit
Mm.
more niggly to think about. Yeah. And if you're happy to talk about a budget, did you have one? You're an accountant, so I feel like you're going to have some
Of course I
amazing
had a budget.
organized advice in this area. But yeah, anything you want to chat through there?
Our initial budget was 20,000, and it's then crept up to 30,000 after I realized how expensive everything was. And then during post-COVID, everything just started adding on. Realistically, we probably spent about 42 to $45,000. I would definitely buffer 20% of what you budgeted.
My tip is, although you have a budget, but also have a forecast, and that really keeps you on realistic payments when are due as well, and having a forward-looking approach. This is the accountant of me coming out, but just I guess when you tip over that you think you're going to spend more than your budget, then you can always pull the levers on what you think you can cut down and saying, actually, I don't really need flowers. I can go with artificial flowers, and then that would minimize on your costs and try to keep it aligned with your budget. But if flowers mean a lot to you, then go for gold, and you can compromise on something else, or not having a DJ, and just having that scenario planning, so then it relays back and takes a step back with you and your partner. Actually, what is more important on the end of the day? If you're willing to splurge a little bit extra on X, Y, and Z, then that's completely fine. But yeah, cash is king, eh?
Yeah, so good. Always love to have an accountant's advice. And yeah,
Yeah,
I love that. Just like forecasting, planning for all those upcoming payments because they can get you when it's getting closer to the day.
definitely. And if you have the option to have paid installments, I would definitely recommend doing installments so you don't take a hit on one. For example, the venue, if they say it's $15,000 or whatever, ask if they do installments rather than normally they do actually do pay a deposit and then you do 2 weeks and before. But if there's options, then definitely recommend and asking. If you don't ask, you don't get, right.
Yeah, exactly. I know a lot of vendors are happy to do that and kind of spread them out over that year or yeah, so definitely worth asking. It makes things a bit easier.
It's always a bonus when you pay for something and you completely forget about it, and then when it comes to the final payment, you're like, oh, actually, I forgot I paid a deposit, and it's a nice little feel good moment, I guess.
So good. And did you guys go on honeymoon straight away? What did planning that look like?
No, we didn't, because we had family coming over from Sydney and from UK. We wanted to spend time with them, so we did actually do a bit of traveling up in the North Island in Cape Reinga and Kirikiri, which was quite nice, showcase them how beautiful New Zealand is. We didn't actually do our honeymoon until 6 months later. Again, our honeymoon was hiking, and we did it through the bougie way and went through lodges. We went through we did hike through Milford Sound and Ruthven, and everyone's like, why would you do hiking as your honeymoon? But you know what? We enjoy hiking, and that's our special moment. We get to spend time together. I guess you're hiking for 6 to 9 hours, however fast or slow you're going, and it's real nice to just spend quality time.
Yeah, no, I love that. I'm right there with you. Love it. Go to hike and all of those great walks are so beautiful, like incredible scenery and yeah, just like quality time for you together. And you can do a lot of them the bougie way where you actually stay in a proper bed or somewhere with like a spa or a shower at
Yeah.
least.
The first one we went was actually Queen Charlotte. And it took me a while to convince Matt because he's never heard of it. I'm like, we should just try it. And he's like, it's so expensive. I think at that time it was two or $3,000 per person to hike for 3 days. And I was like, but you get the luxury hot showers, nice breakfast, lunch, and dinner all included. Just try. If you don't like it, then we can go to dock huts. And we have never been back in dock huts just because we've been. I guess it's like flying business class, right? And
Yeah,
then once you experience that, you don't want to go back to economy.
you're
And I think
spoiled. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm scared of. I haven't gone business class because I'm scared I won't be able to want to experience economy again.
Yes, exactly. So true. I know you can book people to like carry your bags and everything, like do it as kind of
That's what we
like
do,
princess
Liz.
hiking. Yeah, why not? So good.
You enjoy the nature as well. You do a bit of hiking as well,
Yeah,
right?
I definitely need to do more of those down south. I think Abel Tasman's the last like great walk I've done, but yeah,
Recommend Able Tasman.
yeah, beautiful. So many nice beaches and rivers. And yeah, we're very lucky in New Zealand. I think we kind of
Mm,
have this thing inside of us that we want to go see the rest of the world, which is amazing. But a lot of people don't explore our own backyard. And we have, yeah, a lot of
totally,
beautiful
totally.
places. Is there any kind of helpful resources that you use during wedding planning that helped you finding like inspiration or vendors, anything like that?
I think the classic one would be Pinterest, and you have your mood boards, and then you can categorize them. This is type A coming out. Categorize them in terms of rustic that you like, or romance, or different vibes. What wedding dresses you like, and then you can then start to narrow it down. I found Pinterest really good. The second one would be Joy. I really like the Joy app, and that one is e-digital invitations. It also even helps you schedule your timeline as well to your guests, and they can RSVP there, which was really handy, and the dietary requirements and everything else, which was good because then you can also extract it from Excel, which was awesome. Instagram was really helpful, but I must say it was quite overwhelming because there's such a wide selection with photographers, with venues. It can be quite overwhelming. So I definitely narrow it to 3 options if you can. Yeah, but I don't know how people did it 20, 30 years ago and just relied on wedding brochures or wedding magazines or wedding fairs. It's so hard, right? And now we've got this problem where it's too much.
Yeah, opposite problem. It's amazing. It's like very inspirational, but overwhelming amount of content. And do you have any advice from like a bride's perspective from your own experience that you would say to couples that are planning their wedding at the moment?
I think it goes back to it's okay not to know what you want because of the selection of choices that we have at the moment with, for like I mentioned, the Instagram where you can just be inundated with so many, and then the algorithm starts to pick up, right? So then it starts showing you different more options, which can be quite overwhelming. So definitely just narrow it down to a few choices, and then once you've narrowed it down, just don't do any more research because then you're going to go back 2 steps and then go back to square one, which can be quite overwhelming. And I would say from brides and grooms that are celebrating with different cultures, there will be, especially in the Asian community, there'll be big personalities, and my parents can be quite strong on what they want, and don't be very afraid to say no. It's your wedding at the end of the day. It was a point when it was my wedding. They said, "Is it about money? If it's money, then we can pay for it." And I said, "Absolutely not," because once they put 1 cent in, then they'll have a say in it. And I just didn't want that drama, conflicting of the wedding guest list and the food and beverages and whatnot. So definitely don't be afraid to say no. And it's going to be a full on day also if you're doing a tea ceremony. And I would recommend also just thinking about the logistics of the tea ceremony with it. If traditionally you're meant to have it back at your parents' place to pour tea, but for us, I grew up in East, so we were meant to, so we would have had to have the tea ceremony out in East Auckland, but then travel back over to Bethel's Beach, and that's on Saturday, and there's just traffic and it's horrendous.
It's
And I said,
probably like at least 2 hours if you're not from
no,
Auckland. It's very spread out, and
right.
so
And
yeah.
for my family members that wanted to celebrate with a tea ceremony, or my guests that wanted to be part of it, they would have had to travel from east to then west, which just didn't make sense. So think about the logistics. If it works to have it at the venue, which is what we did, then seriously consider it, just because it shaves us 2 hours of your time, and it shaves us for the photographer's time, probably traveling from A to B as well, right? So definitely do it in small chunks and just think about those little things as well. Yeah, it takes a lot of brain power to figure out everything.
Yeah, no, that's such great advice. I always think if you can do the least amount of travel time, like in the car on your wedding day, then that is, yeah, always a good idea. You don't want to be worrying about like traffic or if there's an accident or, yeah, it's just a bit unpredictable. And you don't want to be spending hours in the car on your day. So,
No, no. I actually had to compromise. The night before, originally, I was meant to stay at the venue, and they have a spa pool, and we would have had our own bed and everything, and it would have been just nice to relax. But my parents told me that I needed to be back at their place the night before because the next day will be our wedding day, and the tradition is when you're leaving, you're meant to leave the bride's place because you're starting the next chapter with your future husband. And I was saying, no, I really don't want it. They're like, oh, you might as well not get married. There's no
oh,
point. It's like, okay, I'll stay the night if it really means a lot to you.
yeah.
I must say it was quite nice. They did the whole praying, hair combing tradition, sweet dessert soup as well and everything. And it was nice because my auntie's from Sydney was over, so it was nice to just have a big, loud family just gathering and celebrating the night before, but also exhausting and a bore.
Oh, so many like cool traditions and things, but yeah, a lot. Yeah, I love that. It's kind of like pick your battles with your family, communicate clearly, but yeah, if you can find that sort of in between where you're respecting them still, but also like it's our day doing what we want. So
It's so hard, I think,
it's
especially for
fine
Kiwi
balance.
Asians. Yeah, because you grew up in a Western world, but then you were brought up with their values as well. So you're in this catch-22 of trying to please them, but also aligning it with your values and the way that you're brought up. It's quite, yeah, it's quite overwhelming.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people will relate to that though. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
What is married life like now? Do you feel like you got any of those post-wedding blues after the wedding?
Yes, I did. I was, I guess, because you plan so much just for one day, and then after the day, you're like, now what? During that time after we got married, Nick had a really busy period at work. He was probably doing, I think, close to 60, 70 hours a week for about 13 months. And it was so full on. I never really got to see him, and I was getting quite lonely.
Mm.
And then I was thinking to myself, is this what married life is like? And I was like, this is not what I signed up for. And I guess that's also how Bridal Fusion was born because I was quite bored. I started selling my pre-loved wedding items and was slowly getting inundated with queries, in particular the Asian wedding attire, and mainly because there's none in New Zealand that sell or rent them. And if there was, it would be some through a dodgy Chinese website with poor language barrier as well, or the risk of international shipping. And that's when I actually decided to bring Bridal Fusion, my vision, to life. And that's been really cool, I guess, filling in the time.
It's a good kind of transition to talking about that. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about if you could kind of start with telling us a bit about your background, yeah, how you got started with Bridal Fusion, sort of that journey that's, yeah, led you to it.
It was definitely from our wedding after we got married, when I was selling my wedding items. And like I said, I was just getting inundated with queries on the Asian wedding attire because there's none that sells it in New Zealand or rent them. So I decided to start my own website, and I actually felt like a boomer. I didn't know you had to set up a business profile. I didn't know what SEO was. It was so many lingos that I was just trying to navigate. And YouTube was my best friend, ChatGPT. And I would say for those, I think it was probably more on the corporate side of me coming out and saying, you've done enough research. The best way is just to execute and take action. And if it fails, then you learn quickly. And what's the worst that could happen? You could sell the items at cost price. So I did my own website and built my own merchant and everything. I mean, I had high expectations that the sales would just be coming through the door, but obviously success doesn't come overnight. I think it took me probably about a year to where I am today, and definitely measure my success over happy customers rather than the number of followers that I have. And it's now to a point where most of my brides are from referrals or word of mouth, which has been really nice to hear. And it's so nice to see happy customers and when they wear your gowns and celebrating their traditions and heritage. Just absolutely love what I do. Hope that's romantic.
Love that. It's like keeping the wedding vibes alive.
Oh my
But
God, right?
so good. I've some of my clients have been your clients too, and yeah, always raving reviews. So yeah, absolutely
Oh,
love
that's so
you too.
nice.
Can you, yeah, tell us a bit more about sort of the kind of products you stock and yeah, the services that you offer as well?
I mainly special in Asian wedding attires, but also do wedding accessories, which is veils, hair, and the best bit I would say is I also offer rental and brides that are wanting to try on the gowns. I would highly recommend. The Asian measurements are very different to the Western measurements, and sometimes they don't get it right. So I would definitely recommend coming into my boutique room and just trying it on, and you get the right fit. And don't be offended with the sizing. I remember when I went to Hong Kong once, I said, "Oh, can I please have a small shorts?" And they're like, "You're not a small, you're a large." And I said, "No, no, 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 I'm a small." And back then, I didn't know the measurements was very different. And they're like, "No, I'm pretty sure you're a large." I'm like, "No, I'm pretty sure I'm a small." And they're like, "Fine, here." Gave me the shorts. Tried it on. It literally only fit up to my thighs. And then I had to embarrassingly, "Can I please have a size large?" I'm like, "I told you so."
Yeah, so different.
Yeah, it's so different. So definitely recommend coming in and popping in and checking out the different styles that I have to offer.
Yeah, yeah, so good. I think even yeah, lots of different wedding dresses are like different sizing, or some stores have like American sizing and you can be
Totally.
like,
Yeah.
I'm not that size, but yeah, just don't get caught up in the number, definitely.
No, definitely don't get caught up in even I think wedding dress sizes are quite different to street sizes as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you can always alter it and stuff or whatever you need
yeah,
to. Mm.
exactly. Yeah. Do you have any advice for brides when it comes to deciding on their specific bridal look and accessories, making it all come together and yeah, where they should start?
I think definitely start with the dress first. Don't go backwards and start with the wedding accessories. It becomes more expensive for you to try tailor it to your wedding accessories rather than the actual dress itself. Because once you have the dress, then you can kind of tailor it with what veil that you want, and it's easier to mix and match because you have a lot more options and it's a lot cheaper as well, rather than buying different dresses to make it work with the accessories that you have. Mm. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, that's great. Love that. Is there any sort of trends that you've noticed recently or you think will be seen more of in that kind of bridal style?
I actually did a content on it about a few days ago about the trends. I've definitely noticed the sorry, haven't had my coffee. Parasol umbrellas are back. They're
Mm,
super romantic and they're so playful to use during the creative shoot. I'm noticing a lot of high neck scarves as well that are really in, and it's quite versatile to play around with. That's really cute. And a lot of linen signages as well. It's very chic and minimalistic. I really like that as well. Those are the top three that I'm seeing. Oh, and I'm probably going to be biased, but the wedding veils, a lot of textured, a lot of ruffles, 3D florals, short accentuated veils as well. I'm noticing a lot more people for their reception, they wanted it to be a bit more cash, so they'll wear a short veil as well, which is kind of cute.
yeah, so good. I love that. And that's a cool idea as well. If you're maybe not having a second dress, but you can like change up a certain
Yes.
accessory or like add a little
Yeah.
scarf or yeah, I've seen
Mm.
so many different things done. But yeah, Steph has an amazing collection of veils as well. I think sometimes people struggle to find something and maybe
Yeah.
want something like a little bit different as well. So yeah, definitely go and check that out.
Have you noticed any trendy styles or stuff that brides are doing? Is
Yeah, definitely have seen that a bit. I think the sort of like deeper tones and that kind of like decor styling and like a lot of
Ooh,
drapery, people doing
yes.
kind of these dramatic draped backdrops or having even like portrait wall, I guess you'd say,
Oh
set
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like a bit more styled, I guess, than just like a photo booth. So getting those quite like editorial shots. Yeah, there's a lot in photography. Film photography is still going strong. It's just like a
Yes.
beautiful
Yeah.
look. Everyone's
Yeah.
doing that now. Yeah, still see like the bright colors and yeah, like pops of color kind of style as well. So, but yeah, there's so many things, like people are so creative and the trends kind of change so quickly with everything coming through. So
Definitely. Yeah.
do you have any kind of career highlight weddings that you've been a part of on the vendor side, or anything you can think of?
I would say the photo shoot for my website after a year. Like I said, I thought it was going to skyrocket. I was going to make a killing out of it or something. But I was not getting the traction that I wanted, and I think it was to do with my imageries. I mean, to be fair, when I was taking the the wedding dresses and the gowns, I was taking it from an iPhone 12, so the image quality wasn't as great, and I was taking it from the boutique room, and I said, I'm at that stage where I'm ready to take the investment and take it to the next level. So I reached out to Shelton. I don't know if you've met him, but he's an absolute weapon. So he helped me in doing a run sheet. He helped me organize some models. So I hired some models, photographers, the venue, makeup artists. Shout out to Amy Ryan if she's listening. They did an excellent job, and it was full on, but it was so well worth it. You could just see that they were just as passionate as I was, and watching my vision come into life. And I was in complete awe watching how it all unfolded for 6 hours. And since then, I would say it's definitely taken it to the next level, and that's something me and Nick are really proud of. Got a
Yeah,
few
so
more
good.
stuff in the pipeline, so slowly working on it. But it's hard to juggle full-time work and doing this at the same time.
So good. Yeah, I feel like there's so much work that goes into those styled shoots, but yeah, super valuable just to have those like professional images. And yeah, obviously I'm biased as a photographer, but yeah, and use them across everything definitely kind of like levels up your brand as well. So so beautiful.
I would say it's nice to be in this community because I would say the wedding industry is quite close knit, and I love your work. And I actually just did a cold call and reached out to you, and everyone's so friendly. And I thought it was going. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was going to be a bit catty because you know how it was a very small, close industry. Everyone's, I guess, quite close knit, but it's been so nice. Everyone's been so welcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Yeah, I do generally find that with, yeah, the whole kind of wedding industry is quite supportive and everyone sort of refers each other. And yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's just like room for everyone. It doesn't have to be this big competitive thing. So yeah, it's so
No,
nice.
definitely not.
So good. Is there kind of one piece of advice or yeah, any key takeaways from the vendor's perspective side of things that you'd say yeah, to an engaged couple?
Yeah, I think it goes back to just taking your time and do it in small chunks. I think if you have a spreadsheet,
So good.
break it down to categories. So for me and Nick, our top three categories was the venue and then wedding attire, and I can't remember the other one. But then within those three categories, then break it down to what in the venue that is also most important: your catering, your beverages, and then do it in small chunks. I mean, normally the people plan for a year to year and a half, so you've got plenty of time, and you don't have to rush it. So definitely do it in small chunks, and it's okay to ask for help. Definitely.
Yeah, love that. Such good advice. Is there anything coming up with Bridal Fusion that we can look forward to, or any, yeah, thing you wanted to say? And if you could let us know where to find you and follow you as well.
Follow me on Instagram. I'm more proactive on Instagram. I find TikTok quite overwhelming. um, but I've definitely got something in the pipeline. I don't want to say it. I noticed that I'm an open book girly,
Yeah.
and
Gotta
yeah,
keep some
I'm an
things a
open book girly.
surprise.
So Yeah, and when I say it, and then things kind of fall through, and you're like, "Oh, man, I told them I would stay in keep in touch, I'll keep them updated," but things don't work out, and then it just gets delayed,
Yeah,
so
it's
I'm gonna keep my
business.
lips sealed,
Yes.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely link to your Instagram and your website so everyone can go and check out Bridal Fusion and yeah, the amazing products and things that you have. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on and sharing. I know people are going to get a lot out of this episode.
Definitely, and thanks for having me, and before I wrap up, I was gonna say for people that have been following me for a bit, what would be your wedding tip that you would love to share to the bridal community as well?
Oh my goodness, I feel like I have so many and I get so many from all these chats. I think
Yeah.
I always come back to like the photography side of things. That is my like area that I love. So yeah, if I gave one tip there, I would just say think about the light when planning your wedding day. What time of day is going to be best for photos? Chat to your photographer about that and yeah, shape your timeline around that. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really good. That's a really good one. Yeah.
There's yeah, so much you could say. And I think, yeah, hopefully these podcasts are helping people and then yeah, you're getting a lot of those little nuggets to yeah, help plan your own day. I know that people get a lot from your story too. So good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you've definitely brought in the podcast and different vendors and brides who have different experience, and it's been great to listen to it as well because you don't think about certain things or their experiences as well. It's been good. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice to
Oh,
hear.
thanks,
Thank
Liv.
you so
Yeah.
much.